How to take a self-paced class. First, download the lesson plan from BriannaMTutor.com. Second, watch this instructional video. Third, use the lesson plan to create an audio recording or speech-to-text document with your answers. And 4, submit your file on BriannaMTutor.com or email it to me at chillenglishbrianna@gmail.com.
Hello, my name is Brianna. I teach English, and today we are going to be doing a self-paced class, meaning you can pause this, you can record, you can delete, you can re-record, you can do anything you need. No pressure. All I get is what you submit to me, okay? So today we're doing a self-paced class. This one is about electric vehicles. We're going to be looking at an electric vehicle company in China, and this has changed a lot in recent times, so it's kind of an interesting topic to look back at and see how things were before lots of different changes, which I will have more lessons about as well. But this one is just about electric cars and one certain electric car company called BYD. Right. So I want you first to answer some warm-up questions for me. First, do you think it's normal for most families to own a car in your country or in your city? Some places there's public transportation and walking is what everybody uses and nobody has a car. And in some places, like America, almost everybody has a car, right? But even places like New York City, it's very rare for people to get their driver's license and have a car. Okay. And do you see a lot of electric cars in your country? So wherever you live, do you notice that the cars are mostly electric or mostly gasoline? Or do you not see many cars at all? All right. And do you know any electric car brands? So can you think of any companies that make electric cars? Now these can be companies that only make electric cars or traditional car companies that also make electric cars. Just tell me what you know about. Okay. All right, thanks for answering the warm-up questions. Now we're going to be predicting a little bit about our listening exercise today. We're going to be watching a video about an electric car company, and I want you to predict first. So where do you think electric cars are popular? It's going to be the first thing you're going to talk about. Where do you think they're popular? Okay, and why do you think some consumers wouldn't buy an electric car? What's the reason people do not buy electric cars and decide to buy a gasoline car? And lastly, do you think any countries have any restrictions for electric cars? So this might be things that they can or cannot make in the country, imports or exports for electric cars that might have some rules. Okay, nice job on the predictions. Now we're going to be looking at a video. This is a news clip on YouTube and it's in English. You're going to be listening for these questions. What company produces the world's most electric cars? What are some features of this company's cars? Features meaning what can they do? What's nice about them? What do they kind of offer in the car? How much does an electric car cost in China? Or what's the minimum cost of an electric car in China? What affects the price of cars in the USA? What did Elon Musk say about Chinese electric car brands? And what connections did the Biden administration have, what concerns did the Biden administration have about smart cars? Okay, so this news clip, very current events focused for a few years ago. Once you've finished watching the clip, it should be in your lesson plan and in your lesson materials. You will come back and answer those questions. Okay, so I will be here once you're finished watching. Okay, welcome back. So, what company produces the world's most electric cars? What's the name of the company? The name of that company is BYD, or Build Your Dreams. And what are some features of this company's cars? So they didn't mention too many in the video, but some features of the car are how fast it can go. It can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds. I think that's close to about 100 kilometers per hour for those of you who aren't in the US. Okay, and how much does an electric car cost in China? So the starting price for an electric car in China is $10,000. $10,000. So one with 4 zeros after it. Okay. So what affects the price of cars in the USA? A little bit of a tricky one. So things that affect the price of cars in the USA is the supply chain, how much car companies can control their own supply chain. So BYD controls its whole supply chain, therefore they can sell the cars for cheaper. In America, they have to spend a lot more money to manufacture batteries in America, so they don't have as much control over their supply chain. And there's a lot of materials. It's been a problem with the tariffs, right? There are a lot of materials that aren't sourced or sourceable in the USA, right? We get steel and lots of other things from other places. Okay. And the next one. What did Elon Musk say about Chinese electric car brands? Okay, so if you didn't get that one, he said that the Chinese car brands, if made available in the USA, would demolish the American car brands, right? So he used that word demolish. If you don't know what that word demolish means, it means to destroy, tear down, tear to the ground. Okay? So he thinks that Chinese companies would do really, really well in America And he obviously is interested in that, being a key person in Tesla, which only makes electric cars. Okay, next. This is the last one. What concerns did the Biden administration have about smart cars? So they mentioned this in the video briefly. And this isn't just Chinese cars, it's all smart cars. So the Biden administration was concerned that smart cars would listen to people while they are in their cars and therefore not violate people's privacy, right? So the smart car could violate people's privacy, use data, and use it against the country if needed, right? Could record things that we think we're saying in private. So that is the concern that the Biden administration had about smart cars. Okay, next I want to hear some of your opinions. So, first, of course, big question here after hearing what you've heard about electric cars, would you purchase an electric car? Next, who do you think would be opposed to electric cars? Who do you think doesn't like electric cars? And lastly, do you think gasoline cars will still be popular in the future? So do you think that we're going to convert entirely to electric cars, or are we going to stick with gasoline for a little while? Are we going to keep using those gasoline cars mainly? What do you think? Okay, that is the end of today's session. Thank you so much for participating in the self-paced lesson. You can make sure that your responses are recorded in some way and upload the file to my website so I can get back to you with a video of personalized recommendations. And now, if you're in need of some examples for that warm-up in that opinion section, here's some ways I would answer. So warm-up, do you think that it's normal for families to have a car in your country or city? Yes, definitely, very much so. I live in America. I live in the southeastern part of America where there is like no public transportation. And a lot of places actually don't have sidewalks where I live. So that is a big difference from other places I've lived before, like when I lived in Canada, in Toronto specifically, it was much easier not to own a car, right? So here, everybody has a car. If you don't have a car, I don't know what you're gonna do. It would be very, very, very difficult, right? And do you see a lot of electric cars in your country? Yes, I do. I don't see more electric cars than I see gas cars, I don't think. Sometimes it's hard to tell if a car is an electric car because they have electric versions of, you know, your standard cars now. So sometimes I might not notice, but I definitely see the Teslas, the Rivians, the Volts and Bolts and Leafs and all those other electric cars. Iconic. All right. And do you know any electric car brands? The ones I just mentioned. And yeah, BYD in China, the one that we talked about in this lesson, of course. Rivian is one of my favorites. The CEO is very kind and nice, and like Elon Musk. I shouldn't say that. CEO is very kind and nice, and the cars are interesting looking, and the way they design them is pretty. I don't know much about car design, but I find it interesting. Anyway, so next is gonna be. So, would you purchase an electric car? I would purchase an electric car for sure. My biggest reason why I wouldn't purchase an electric car is because I do like to take an occasional road trip. So I like to drive for hours and hours and hundreds of miles, and in an electric car you have a limited range. So I would want something that has both an electric engine and a gas engine, like a plug-in hybrid is what they're called. I own right now a standard hybrid, and I hope one day I'll own a plug-in hybrid. That's probably going to be my next car that I purchase. Okay. Who do you think would be opposed to electric cars? Probably other people who also need that longevity, if they have a long commute, if they live far, or if they visit family like every weekend that are a couple hours away. Things like that would be very difficult in an electric car. There are also, I'm sure, people in the gasoline industry or who benefit from the gasoline industry who would want a gasoline car. I don't know anybody personally, but I'm sure they exist. And do you think that gasoline cars will be popular in the future? I kind of hope not so much. They're not great for the environment, but there are a lot of environmental concerns with electric cars too, especially the batteries. The batteries need to get disposed of, and they can only be disposed of in certain places. And we're seeing that become an issue with Teslas. So I think they will be more popular in the future. I think gasoline is a non-renewable resource, and electricity, we're finding new renewable ways to create it. So I see it becoming more popular, but I don't know when that would happen, and there would also be its own set of issues if the electric car were to become the main or major source of car. Okay. So those are my example answers. If you have, of course, my opinions, they could be completely different from what you said. That's okay. These are just to give you an idea of how I would answer the question. And of course, I put this at the end so you can skip it if you don't want to listen. But anyway, I hope it was helpful. Sirens. Okay, I hope it was helpful, and I hope that you enjoyed the self-paced lesson. I'm looking forward to getting back to you on your submission. Bye-bye.